Welcome to AMIcast, podcast about Amiga computers. I'm your host, Krzysztof Radzikowski, but call me Krzysztof or Radzik. Hi, my guest is Daytona, so the guy behind the Wings Battelfield, Tower 57 now, and the Wings, yeah? For example, and Charlie Daring, it's easy to say, so hi, how are you? And we meet in Wolfsburg, so again, hi.
Hi, right now I'm working most of my time on Wings Remastered. Unfortunately, it's a bit delayed. I underestimated the work on the original 3D models. So for the strafing missions, it was much more work to get everything up and running at decent speed. 2 more weeks. Tower 57 hasn't been started yet. I didn't get the source code from the developers yet. I suppose some more weeks until they are done. So the thing is that I will start on Tower 57 as soon as the PC version is more or less
ready,
done. So I don't have to do extra work in the case if they find out that something is broken, that they have to change some core code. So it will be when they are done. And that's not the case until now, so this hasn't been started at all from my side. But because Wings Remastered eats up so much time, I'm not too unhappy that Tower 57 is a bit delayed. Yes.
Okay, but in this year, probably it will be
Of course.
No problem.
The guys behind Tower 57 told me some weeks ago that it won't take long, so it's a matter of some weeks, yes.
Okay, and with the Wings, I maybe want to ask you about the pre-orders, because it was not enough, I think, yeah?
Yes, the original plan was to collect the money of 300 pre-orders, because that was the number that we calculated how much units do we have to sell at which price to somehow get enough money to finance me full-time working on it, plus expenses for box production, etc. So the number 300 was the goal, and unfortunately it only 150 pre-orders or so were had been collected some at the end of last year, I guess it was. In contrast to the original plan, I couldn't afford to work full-time on it. Of course, I have to do normal work to earn money, and that's also one of the reasons why it takes a bit longer, of course. Yes, that's the current situation. So far, 180 or 190 units were pre-sold. So it's a good number. I mean, after all, people are prepaying for something where only a demo version exists and some videos and so on. So it's actually a pretty good result. This 300 was maybe a bit... it would have been great. Because if it had happened, the game would have been done already. Because I could have worked full time on it.
So you are a freelancer or something?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
this is nice.
So I can. So at the moment, I'm balancing between normal work and.
Understand.
Yes.
But okay. And my another question is, because the pre-order was not enough, the number of pre-order, and in the future, from your experience in cinema, or for example, it is possible that we have more games, or this shows that there is no market?
No. I guess there is enough market for 300 units. I guess I'm very confident. I'm pretty sure that those 300 units will be sold. But pre-selling is something different, you know.
Yes and no, because in normal world the pre-selling is very popular.
Okay, then let's put it this way: for pre-sales, 300 is probably too much to ask for, too much to expect. But since the game will for sure be sold out pretty soon, I guess that Cinemaware will continue to probably do a Defender or S4 version probably something new. But I don't know their plans. Yes, but I'm confident that they consider it seriously.
Okay, and because you are one of the best developers of game developers in the world, developers. And I don't know if you're familiar with the game Tanks Fury. This is the
yes.
And the game is sold very well. And this now is another question. Do you think probably the better direction is go to the classic, not to the NG?
Well, it depends.
It can be changed.
Of course, the classics have the much higher user base.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, from considering that there's this retro movement at the moment, retro is very popular. Exactly. So it's probably indeed. How do you say it? More likely to have good sales with classic products than with next generation Amiga products. It's probably indeed easier to sell those. But for me, I'm going to support the OS4 and Morphos and Aeros next generation Amigas, and will continue to do so. I'd like to do a 1200 game too, but it's only a concept so far. Maybe I do it, maybe I drop it, I don't know. But it would certainly be one production and nothing more. I won't.
Special edition.
For me, yes. I wouldn't concentrate on classics. But I'm speaking for myself. So
of course, yeah. But maybe the other question is the last week I think there was the release of the new Warp3D Nova or something. And this is I don't know. I'm not a developer. This is better for you. This will be better because the Amiga OS is not good in the 3D graphic.
Yes, well, I think Nova has pros and cons. Pro is that it's something more modern. Of course, it will certainly help people like PPC to port more modern games. Yes, that's something really good. Not so good is that it's limited to one kind of graphic cards, of course. Yes. And for me, for my projects, I'm more the kind of guy that likes to squeeze something out of machines like the SEM 440 or 460, especially the 440 machine.
Yeah, I saw some of your movies on YouTube, and this is very impressive. The wings.
Yes, that's the fun I take out of this whole Amiga stuff in the first place. So with Nova, it's nothing that for me personally, it's nothing that would interest me. You know, I mean, then I can code for the PC. You know, it's not. There's no real
challenge or something.
Yes, exactly. And okay, but that's so. It's unlikely that I will support it actively with games. Yes. And another thing is that when I'd decide to support it, that would also mean that I'd decide to drop support for older, for Morphos, and especially for older Amiga OS 4 machines, because it would be just too much work to write a game with different rendering paths for every for Nova, for fixed pipeline, for whatever. That's just too much.
And how you now manage this because you're supporting the free systems?
Yes, but those are pretty similar under the hood. I mean, they can do more or less the same. Yes, it's basically everywhere. It's this OpenGL1 fixed pipeline stuff from a feature point of view. So it's a pretty common base all those flavors share.
Okay, and maybe a little bit different because I'm upset with the progress of Odyssey web browsing, and you are a developer, so it is because the problem is WebKit for PowerPC, and there is hope for us from your point of view, because nobody wants to. At the end of all, I more play with Odyssey than games on the Amiga. Yeah? So without Odyssey, I'm a little bit in shock. I don't know if you can say something about this or.
No. Okay. No, really.
Sadly, because
sorry.
No. Okay. This is the problem for community. Yeah. Good. And okay, so maybe the last one after these games, you say that you will make something for classic, maybe.
Maybe, yes.
And you have something in your head that new games that will come. Or?
At the moment, I have enough stuff on my to-do list. Finishing up Wings Remastered, then Tower 57, then the OpenGLES 2 wrapper for Nova, and then I finally will have to deliver the long-awaited internet support for Wings Battelfield.
So this will be with the now. In future, we will be playing.
Yes. I promise that, and I have to deliver at some point. So I will. You see, there's plenty of stuff I have to deliver sooner or later, and so I know there are no concrete plans right now.
Okay, and maybe this will be the last. In the Cherry Island, there is two guys, I think, yeah? The question is how big team is working on this game, because the game...
Me only.
Only you?
At the moment, the Wings Remastered. Yes. The Wings Remastered, it's just me.
Okay.
No, the Sherry Darling is at the moment is finished because of some team internal issues, and so we decided to put it on ice, and so because of that, the current Wings Remastered isn't done by Sherry Darling, but by Golden Code, my own company's name. So no. At the moment, it's just me. Yes. too much work.
Yeah, this is, so the question is because when you make the new game, you need more than one guy theoretically, yeah? The graphic guy and the...
You mean for future projects?
Future,
yes.
Before this is not possible because your games are very nice. They are well made.
Yeah? Of course. If after those ports like Wings and Tower 57, when it's time to think about a new game from ourselves, then of course I have to look around and form a team or reform Sherry Darling or whatever, or revive Sherry Darling. Of course, it's something I need a team for, and we'll see. I mean, there are quite some talented guys around, so it shouldn't be too hard to find people to form a team.
And maybe I said so you don't have so much time. I have so much question. For example, Ami Store. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Do you plan to sell the games through the Ami Store? Because
the Sherry Darling games, the older ones, no, because it's one of our philosophies was to support all Amiga flavors, and because Ami Store is always for only
so far, because it should be for
because it isn't right now, we don't support it, and after all our Sherry Darling games are pretty old now, so it's not too interesting to put. So and Voxel Bird is let's be serious, it's just a quick shot fun game.
Okay.
And more or less the same with Voxenoid. So there aren't any plans to sell it online. And with Wings Remastered, there are it's cinema. I'm not involved into selling, but it's still to be decided if they are going to offer download versions when the limited boxes are sold out. Maybe they will use Ami Store for them. I don't know, but it's possible. Yes.
Okay, so maybe the last one. If somebody wants to start the coding or something like this, make something for Amiga, what is the good start point? And if this is the good point, Hollywood, for example, another great German product, yeah?
Yes, Hollywood. Yes. Now, since you said it, I'd certainly recommend Hollywood. I don't program stuff for Hollywood, but I checked it out once, and it's really a perfect start if you have no coding background at all, especially in that case, because there are plenty of good examples coming with it, and it's the problem with if you want to learn programming is to keep motivated.
Yeah.
And motivation keeps longest if you constantly see progress with your eyes, and Hollywood helps a lot in this case. It's just a few lines, and you really see something. You see your objects moving around your play field and whatever. If you wanted to do the same thing in plain C or whatever, and just only using the standard Amiga SDK or whatever, well, it's a long and stony way until you get your first picture.
Okay, and your developer tools, this is based on Linux or something like this?
No.
I'm direct on Amiga?
I'm using Windows, and I'm using Embarcadero's programming studio because one of my main customers uses it, so I'm using it.
Okay.
And it's really not the best development system, but it's okay. So I'm programming using that system, and every Amiga game or whatever I code is also working on Windows. It's my libraries and so are portable, fully portable. So 90% of the time I'm developing on Windows, and when it's time to optimize and test and so on, I'm using a cross-compiler toolchain and copy the results to the target machine and test it there. No, I'm not compiling on the Amiga systems.
Okay.
Or editing or whatever. No. It's simply the Windows machine. It's so blazingly fast. I mean, it's only a few seconds to do a full rebuild of the whole mess. Something my Sam would take 10 minutes or whatever. You know, it's if I program on my OS4 machine, then it would take years.
Okay.
Years until
good.
something is done. It's really too time consuming. There's no debugging system or nothing. Yes, it's just it simply takes too long.
Okay, so maybe the last question or almost last. So, from the point of view developer and user, what do we need now in Amiga?
For developers, well.
Or which tools you are missing, or
well, since I'm happy with my toolchain, I'm not missing not being able to compile fast on an Amiga machine. I mean, the thing is, compiling isn't everything. I mean, I need other tools. I need my Paint Shop or Cinema 4D or whatever. So it's so many software that's involved, and so many software is missing, and well, it's simply too much. Yes.
Okay.
And I don't really need it because I have all this stuff on Windows, so who cares? Yes.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? I mean, I'm using this and it's good enough, so I'm not missing anything as a developer for the developing process on Amiga OS because I don't need it. But if it's about features that I'm missing, well. Well,
this is the episode is too short, yeah.
Well, yes. Well, I mean, after all, it's there are many details. I mean, sometimes for example, compositing. Yes, it works, but sometimes you'd sit there and think, damn, why didn't they add mechanism to supply vertex color or whatever. Yes, something like that. It's not a big deal or a big feature.
There is some connection between you and our developers of OSs, of ROS, MorphOS, or if you say, this is missing or this is corrupt.
Oh yes, that's a problem. I mean, you can send bug reports and whatever, and sometimes they are processed faster, sometimes not. And well, for example, the Wings Remastered demo, turned out there was a bug in the Radeon R200 driver on MorphOS that caused the lighting to corrupt. And I reported it, and Bigfoot fixed it in a couple of days. So yes. I mean, I'm reporting such stuff. And yes.
Okay, so now this will be the last. Which Amiga? The best. Which Amiga is the best for the start point? The classic, maybe the NG to buy, or because for example we are waiting for new 5000.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay, that's
and
no entry machine.
And the Tabor is here.
And the Tabor. It's the best entry machine. Probably the best variants to sniff into it. Well, Aros. Yes, but on the other hand, Aeros is probably the least modern or next gen. If you install it this way, it looks like a 3.1 or so.
Yeah, and it's a lot of.
But okay, you don't have to buy additional hardware if you are not too unlucky.
Machine,
Yes. So probably that would be the best idea. Or you can try can try Morphos if you have a Mac, a much older Mac. You can try it for free. As far as I know, it starts to yes. I mean that's fine to get an idea. And for OS4, well, you can get the OS4 for Classic, for example. It's $20 or what?
Yeah.
So you can at least check it out without investing. And so I'd say it's a matter of taste. If I were a newcomer, I would try all three variants. Well, it's a matter of taste.
Okay. And
I mean, all systems have their problems or areas where they are better than the other.
Yeah.
So it's really
depends. Okay, the last. I believe, really, this is the last. We are sitting near the vampire, and from the games developer point of view, this is possible that this is something new in classic way for you to do something.
Yes, I was.
Because, sorry, I will finish because I'm missing the games like Napalm or something like this. So nice classic games, not only Super Frog.
Yeah. I was a bit skeptical when I heard about the vampire, when I first read about it, and I thought it would turn out to be vaporware. But luckily I was proven to be wrong. And as far as I can see, it's a very interesting platform indeed. It's super cheap. I mean, it's really cheap.
Yeah, compared to Amiga hardware, it's cheap.
Yes. It's a really killer price tag, and it's pretty interesting. For example, with the Super RDR chipset they are implementing on it, so I could, for example, Tower 57.
Yeah, because
it would be. I'm pretty sure it would run fine on such a machine.
And this can be a challenge for you because you don't have this modern stuff.
Yes.
But it's powerful enough to do something like that.
Yeah. No, it's pretty interesting, and I'm in contact with Kimon, who shows me the latest stuff he tests on it and so on. So I'm monitoring the progress, and yes, it's pretty interesting, and probably we will I'll see. Yes. It's not too unlikely, but it's too early to
of course,
tell you
this
something.
is early stage, but this is nice to hear something like this from you.
It's definitely a platform I'd like to support if my time allows it.
The time, okay.
Yes. So it's always about time.
Exactly. So thank you very much for your time. This was nice.
Thank you.
At least.
Yeah. It was.
And we did it. Thanks.
Took some time.
Have a nice.
And now again in the very last minute.
Yeah. This is the good timing. So bye. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
It was AMIcast, podcast for all Amiga users.